is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Chris Yao, and I'm joined by the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Mo, what's going on, man?
It's Thursday. High school football, part 1.
That's right. Hey, I'm fired up. I'm so excited, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit, but man, just having more football is never a bad thing, and it helps us out drastically when we are able to cover 2 games in 1 week. You know what I mean? So it just gets us the ability to be on site at multiple events. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night for high school football. Hopefully about a 20% chance of rain, depending on where you are. So let's
ignore that.
Hey, yeah, no rain's coming. No rain's coming. Knock it on.
I don't think the hard stuff's coming for a while.
Let's hope not. So yeah, got a great show lined up for you. INGLE Martin's going to join us. I guess he's still in Williamsport. They've got a big game tonight at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Nolensville will take on Texas, and the shoot, I knew their name yesterday. I said it, and now I don't remember. Anyway, the Texas team, Southwest, they will play for a chance to take on Hawaii and try to replicate what they did in the state tournament, and that is win 2 to get to the end. Do they have to?
I don't know. I don't know either. That it might be a modified double elim once you get to that point.
It may be. It may just be a winner take all, which is probably fine by me. Either way, replicate losing, beating the team that they lost.
Unless you're Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, you know,
they may not. They may not be so down
Hawaii's
with it.
Especially if they lose. Hey, wait a minute. They got to lose twice. All
right.
Anyway, yeah, so there's that. But yeah, we're going to talk to INGLE Martin. He'll talk about how he is helping his team prepare. I mean, what role is he playing? We'll find out in just a few minutes. Amanda LaFratta will also join us. She comes from Off the Hook Sports. We talked with Dave Hooker earlier in the off season about the Tennessee Volunteers, but Amanda's going to join us and tell us what she's got cooking over in East Tennessee, and she's got a lot going on, and she's keeping up with the Vols quite a bit. So we want to get her thoughts on Tennessee. And it's high school football day, which means we're picking them. So we'll pick 10 of the biggest high school football games from across the state or across the mid-state, not across the state. That's not a good idea. But before we do any of that, Mo, today is the day that we get to wear out our voices in segment number 1. We'll do it tomorrow as well, but we're going to give you the rundown.
Here's the rundown.
In Wednesday, girls soccer results, it was Nolensville blanking Brentwood 4-0, and Friendship Christian defeating Ezel Harding 1-0. Professional baseball action on Wednesday, it was the Braves with a 14-2 win over Pittsburgh. Philadelphia down Cincinnati 5-1. It was the Cubs 7, the Cardinals 1, and the Dodgers 12, the Brewers 6. In minor league action, the Nashville Sounds defeated the host Durham Bulls 9-2.
In Tuesday's schedule, obviously we
Thursdays.
just told. Geez, what am I doing? Anyway, sorry. Thursday's schedule. There, we got the rundown up. It is Nolensville, Texas, 6 p.m. ESPN. High school football tonight at 7 o'clock. It's Dixon County at Columbia Central. Liberty Creek at Portland. BGA's at Ravenwood. Smyrna at Rockville. White House hosting Greenbrier. And DCA will host Ezel Harding at 7:30.
That's odd. In volleyball action today, Zion Christian travels to FC Boyd. That's a 5 o'clock start. Also at 5 o'clock, Hampshire hosts Perry County. These are all 5:30 starts. Providence Christian at Battleground Academy. Harpeth Hall at Stewart's Creek. Ezel Harding hosts Nashville Christian. Father Ryan takes on visiting Nolensville. And Grace Christian of Franklin comes to Columbia Academy. All those at 5:30.
At 6 o'clock, Columbia Central travels to East Hickman. Siegel is at Blackman Franklin hosting Riverdale. It's Harpeth welcoming Santa Fe. Smyrna's over at Laverne. Mount Pleasant will be at Lewis County. Uh-oh. It's early in the season, but here we go. Summertown, Loretto, 6 o'clock, down in Loretto.
At the barn.
Yep. Let's go. Let's go. Culleoka's at Moore County. Lawrence County's over at Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Oakland travels to Rockville, and Spring Hill welcomes Independence.
In girls soccer action today, Whites Creek is at Glencliff beginning at 4 o'clock. First touch for East Nashville at Valor Christian is at 4:30. Also at 4:30, Brentwood Academy takes on visiting Martin Luther King, and Antioch is at Cane Ridge. At 5 o'clock, Mount Juliet Christian is at Clarksville Academy. Franklin Road Academy hosts Columbia Academy. Lebanon travels to Smyrna. Hillsborough is at St. Cecilia Academy, and University School of Nashville hosts Hillwood, all at 5.
At 6 o'clock, First Touch, Battleground Academy hosting Lipscomb Academy. Watertown's at Cannon County. STEM Academy is at Independence Academy, not to be confused with Independence Thompson Station. Creekwood at Kenwood. Loretto hosting Lincoln County. Hume Fogg at Merrill Hyde. It's Wilson Central at Mount Juliet, and Nolensville hosting Gallatin.
Also at 6 o'clock, Warren County is at Oakland. McEwen goes to East Robertson. Fairview hosts Harpeth. Overton will be at Sycamore. Good Pasture hosts Nashville Christian. Portland goes to Carthage to take on the Smith County Lady Owls, and Cookville hosts Laverne at 6:30.
Columbia Central will be at Franklin County. That's at 7 o'clock. Also at 7, the remainder of these. Summit at Centennial. Beach hosting Lead Academy. Lawrence County at Giles County. Hendersonville hosting Stewart's Creek. Independence is welcoming Ravenwood. And Shelbyville is at Riverdale. Grace Christian Franklin will be at Siegel. Now at 7:15, Greenwood, Kentucky goes to Pope Prep. And at 7:30, Rossview is at Rockville.
In professional baseball action today, the St. Louis Cardinals currently lead the Cubs 3-1. That is in the bottom after 2 full at Wrigley Field. At 6:05 tonight, Cincinnati finishes up a series at Philadelphia, and at 6:35 tonight, the Sounds are at Durham, continuing their series there. And that is your rundown.
All right, there we go. That is your rundown, and we will be taking you to our top story now, as we have a few minutes left. That's always nice. If there were a franchise that may listen, I'm just saying, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant,
James Harden,
all of the things that have kind of gone through this franchise in Oklahoma
Billy
City.
Donovan.
You know, Billy Donovan wasn't a bad coach.
Yeah, I just think that there was a lot of instability around him. Maybe
I mean, he was a decent coach for a franchise that has, well, let's face it, been simply decent over its lifespan.
Sure.
I'm not going to call it karma. Some may. I'm not going to do that. But this latest development out of Oklahoma City sure is unfortunate.
Oh, without question, it is. Chet Holmgren, the Thunder's second overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, has been diagnosed with a Liz Frank injury in his right foot and will miss the entire upcoming season. Apparently sustained the injury this weekend after landing awkwardly against LBJ in transition. And you know what LeBron looks like, and you know what Chet Holmgren looks like, all 7 feet, 195 pounds of him. So you can tell that who was going to get the worst end of a collision between those two. And sure enough, Holmgren's got a foot injury. Certainly we are disappointed for Chet, especially given the excitement he had about getting on the floor with his teammates this season, says Thunder Executive Vice President and General Manager Sam Presti. We know Chet has a long career ahead of him within our organization and the Oklahoma City community. One of the things that most impressed us during the process of selecting Chet was his determination and focus. We expect that same tenacity will carry him through this period of time as we work together and support him during his rehabilitation. Chris, a point was made on my Facebook page when I posted this development that given his build, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, this type thing could possibly be expected and could kind of be the hallmark of his professional career.
I don't really know how his size is affected by injuries such as this or injuries, how typical they are. I just don't know. What I do know is we've rarely seen guys of his stature have super longevity in the NBA. I mean, Sean Bradley kind of comes to mind, and yeah, he had a decent career, but it wasn't second overall type stuff. And I just don't really recall a whole lot about what Sean Bradley did as a pro, other than I can recall his name.
I don't think he was asked to be, nor do I think he brought the skills that a Chet Holmgren brings. So
ironically, Sean Bradley was the number 2 overall pick in the 1993 draft.
Wow.
Did not realize that.
Who knew? Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, he was also 275 pounds, but he was 6 foot. He was 6 inches taller too. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what his size.
I don't know what he is, in terms of position. I mean, clearly, and this was a question about Chet Holmgren even as he went to Gonzaga, let alone coming out, whether he could deal with the banging in the paint and that kind of thing on a consistent basis. And what do they play? 35 games, maybe, if you make a deep run in the postseason? You're talking about an 82-game regular season now. And this is a guy that you're expecting to play, probably, 36 to 40 minutes a game?
Yeah, and at least, 78 of those 82. You might give him a little bit of load management at some point, but I mean, you want him to play as much as possible. And that's the thing about basketball drafts, is your first round pick has got to be impactful pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
That's the importance of the first round pick, especially when you're Oklahoma City coming off the year that they had, and obviously getting the second pick, you didn't have a great year. So it's important. And now you're sitting here with basically nothing to show for that second round pick or that second overall pick.
Right.
It is unfortunate.
Gonzaga played 32 games last year, by the way.
I mean, I hate that. I really do. But like I said, I'm not calling it karma. Some may. I would not. Certainly. I would never do anything like that.
No.
Not me. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break here, Mo, as we get into the rest of the show. Ingle Martin scheduled to join us here momentarily. And so looking forward to talking to him. And we'll be right back on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Y'all stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, While we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton coming to you on this Thursday edition as we get ready for high school football coming your way tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. But that means, Mo, for the first time this year, for the first time this school year, we get to hand out some awards. And looking forward to it because it's been a while since we've gotten to honor some local teams here in Southern Middle Tennessee. So let's give it to them with the In to Win Life Southern Middle Tennessee Team of the Week.
You want me to do it?
Of course.
Oh, okay. The Lady Raiders of Spring Hill opened the year with a couple of wins last week, defeating Marshall County 9-0 and Lawrence County 7-3. That's, if you're counting, I know Chris isn't a big mathematician, but that's 16 goals in 2 games. Pretty impressive. So
flexible state math, man.
Yeah. So Spring Hill girls soccer is our In to Win Life Southern Middle Tennessee Team of the Week to open the 22-23 school year.
And we move on to our Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint Southern Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week.
Athlete of the Week. Yeah, a little tweaking of the terminology there. Staying in the sport of girls soccer, Culleoka sophomore Sophie Williams last week scored the Lady Warriors' first 5 goals in an eventual 6-0 win over Giles County to open the season. We thought that was pretty good. That's pretty good,
that
right?
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. So Culleoka sophomore Sophie Williams is our Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint Southern Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week to start the school year. Congratulations to her.
And that means it's time to go to Coach's Corner, where we are excited to bring in the head coach for the Christ Presbyterian Academy Lions. On Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. We have Coach Ingle Martin joining us. Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well. We're not doing as good as you are because you have scratched an item off of my bucket list over the last week or so. You've been hanging out up in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania at the Little League World Series. So I'm a little envious. I'm a little grudgeful.
Well, we've been up here for just a little bit of time. Obviously started this trek with the All-Star team out of Nolensville in our district tournament, and whether people know it or not, Goodlettsville and Nolensville are two of the best programs in the entire country. And unfortunately, one of us has to go home after the district, which is the first round of all this. And we had 2 one-run games with Goodlettsville back at the end of June. And that really kind of set it up for the eventual state tournament, where we played a really good Columbia team. I don't know if y'all covered them at all, but they beat us the first game. We had to come back and beat them twice. And then down to Warner Robins, which if you haven't been there, Mo, you need to go check it out. That stadium is a replica of Lamedy up here in Williamsport. Wow. And then, of course, this team came up here, and seems like we've been up here a month, but we've been up here a while watching these 12-year-old boys play baseball. It's been really fun.
Yeah, I was actually at that state championship game up at not Drake's Creek. Is it Drake's Creek? Up in Hendersonville, when you all defeated Columbia for the second time there, and did not see you, but wasn't looking for you. I didn't realize that you had a personal investment in that team. So hate that I missed you up there, but these guys have played some really good ball since that state tournament loss to Columbia, and kind of rolled right into Williamsport.
Yeah, I think our loss yesterday to Hawaii was our first loss since the Columbia loss. And so, the kids have been playing well. Baseball at a lot of levels, but especially 12-year-old baseball is so dependent on having good pitching. And, man, you can run up against some buzzsaws. And, Columbia had some really good pitching. Team in Virginia that we were down to in the 6th inning had a really good pitcher. And then we played this team from Indiana that we ended up beating in the 7th inning up here, who had an unbelievable pitcher. And then there's Hawaii, who had they've only given up 4 hits in 4 games, but they've also, I think they've hit 12 home runs or 13 home runs. And it's just that they're a squad. But that's why people love watching this Little League World Series, because it seems like there's always a team that's just stacked. And certainly that Hawaii team is.
Hit 5 home runs in that 13-0 win over Nolensville yesterday to set up this United States losers bracket final game at 6:00 tonight on ESPN against Texas. Ingle, I mean, I don't know how much time the parents get to spend with the kids while you're up there, but what's the state of mind of this team coming out of Hawaii, getting ready for this game tonight?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we've been down before, and like we just talked about with Columbia, we were in the losers bracket, and so these kids have played with their back against the wall before. But I think the biggest thing is I'm not an expert on this, but from what I could tell, we've got the most wins, or tied for the most wins, of a South Nashville / Nolensville team. Up here in Williamsport, being able to go 3-0 is pretty special, and being able to be in that winners bracket, the 2 3-0 teams yesterday, was awesome. And heck, no matter what, we're going to finish in the top 3, which is pretty exciting. So now tonight is really playing for a shot to be in that U.S. championship, and if you play Saturday, then you automatically get to play Sunday, because they have the 2 losers play a consolation game, which would be neat. Curacao, Mexico, and Chinese Taipei are left. So being able to play one of those teams in Lamedy would be something that these boys could add on to their list of unforgettables. But it's just a really neat experience. I think the biggest thing for people watching this is, there's no admission to these games. Anybody that wants to come in is allowed in. You sit wherever you want. They've got one section behind home plate that seems to be reserved for anybody that is friends with people at ESPN or Easton or one of the big companies, but everything else is wide open. And you've got people that have been coming here since they were little kids, 60-year-old men and women, who came with their families. And if this were within 3 or 4 hours of Nashville, you could see why everyone would want to come up here. It's just a pure form of athletics. These kids are all playing because they love it. And this is, it's like Disney World for baseball. Just a really magical place. Everyone, I noticed this. Couple parents were talking, but you go to a ball game and everyone there is just really happy to be a part of it. They do the fourth inning stretch and every single person's up singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with smiles on their face. It's just a neat place. And obviously for us, having a son play in it and be able to watch it has been really fun.
Ingle Martin, who is also the Christ Presbyterian Academy football coach, but right now just being dad, and that's pretty cool. That's got to be something that is special for you. I mean, look, having a program that you can feel somewhat comfortable leaving in the hands of someone else to be dad, and you don't feel like you are leaving one to neglect the other. So that's got to be special for you.
Yeah, I'm certainly blessed to be part of a school and an organization like Christ Presbyterian Academy. Our head of school, Nate Morrow, didn't really give me an option. He just kind of looked at me and said, "You are going up to Williamsport." And of course, all of my coaches did the exact same thing and just said, "We got you. You need to go up there and enjoy that." And so Steve Haywood, who's been a long time coach with me, is anybody that knows high school football knows he's one of the best coaches in the entire state. And Steve's very, very capable, more than capable of running it, and has done a great job. And then, we're just blessed with a lot of really good football coaches on our staff and good men. And so the hardest part is probably honestly been for me, just not being able to be around. But they certainly don't need me as much as I need to be a part of that program. And I think that's what makes our place special is I think everyone feels like they really need to be a part of it. But really the program doesn't need any of us, if that makes sense. And so it's been fun to kind of watch from afar. I got to watch a CPA game for the first time in 12 years from somewhere not on the sidelines, and got to watch it up here on my computer, which was a different feeling, but really, I haven't felt uneasy. It's been really nice just being up here we've got our 10-year-old up here, my wife and I, and her parents are up here. And Williamsport, if you've never been to Central Pennsylvania, it's beautiful. It reminds me a bunch of kind of Middle Tennessee, East Tennessee, just rolling hills that are all kind of connected to the Appalachian Mountains. Just a really pretty place.
CPA football coach Ingle Martin joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe over in Chapel Hill. Ingle, you mentioned watching the season opener against Independence on your computer. Fortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of suspense in that one. 42-24, the Lions taking care of business. But you mentioned it's the first time since you've been at CPA that you weren't on the sidelines for a game. What was that like?
It was a little weird because, I was a part of the game planning process and had watched practice and obviously talked to Coach Haywood and all of our coaches a lot during the week. But, it's just, I think I knew what was being called, and, I could kind of tell, but just not knowing, you're watching like a fan, and just cheering for those kids. And the biggest thing is those seniors, such a great group, really special group that has been working hard all summer. And, they've really, I think, made the most of their opportunity. We took the field with a bunch of guys that, haven't played a ton. And, we graduated a class where I think 7 of them had been starting since their sophomore year. So it's always a fun thing. That's high school football. That's what makes it fun. You've got kids that are in your program, and you watch them from, whether it's 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and you watch them grow, and then they come in as freshmen and they kind of bide their time and they work hard, and, God kind of takes over and, grows them and matures them. And then Coach Epps in our weight room puts the strength and the weight on them. And then, by the time they're seniors, they're ready to play, a lot of them. And, nothing probably was more illustrative of that than our 2020 team, where we started 4 out of 5 and really 5 out of 6 of our offensive linemen really hadn't played a meaningful snap of football until their senior year. And were able to go on that run that we went on in 2020. And so this year we have a lot of those types of kids that have been waiting for their time, waiting patiently, and, really excited to watch them this year.
You missed Indy last week. Pretty good chance you're going to miss Brentwood Academy this week. What do you tell those guys?
I think the biggest thing is just being in communication with our coaches. They're about to go out for practice here in a little bit. Our Thursday kind of run through, and just making sure everything's kind of figured out and talked about, and the kids know what's going to happen in what situations. And then really it's just going out there and letting them have fun on Friday. We got a really good opponent. Coach White and Brentwood Academy is one of the best programs in the state every year for a reason. They do a really good job of coaching, and those kids are not going to beat themselves, which is always a hard task when you're trying to win a football game. And so it's going to be great opportunity for our school to go over and play a game at Brentwood Academy. Obviously lots of tradition there. I haven't been over there since I was in high school as a player. And so, we went over and did maybe some 7-on-7 a couple years ago, but really hadn't played over there much. And so, excited about that opportunity. And then, really for us next week, we got BGA, which is, a big one for us. It's a region game. And so that's really what we're excited about is getting to those region games.
Ingle Martin joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time with us. We'll let you go be dad for a little while longer and enjoy your time. We'll be rooting for you guys at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN, Nolensville and Texas.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm sitting in here in my hotel room, and the Curacao Mexico game's on, and they just panned to the fans in the stand, and it showed all the Nolensville boys sitting there. So I think they're enjoying it, soaking in those last couple moments up there at Lomedy. But if anybody's watching tonight, I think these boys from Middle Tennessee will give it their best and hopefully be a good game.
I certainly think it will be. Thanks again for your time, and good luck the rest of the way on your football season as well.
Well, thank you all so much. And Mo, you got to get up here. You got to make it a priority.
You're right. I do, man. It's good talking to you, Ingle. Good luck tonight.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we have Amanda LaFratta joining us from Off the Hook Sports, so stick around. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, coming to you on this beautiful Thursday here in southern Middle Tennessee, Mo. It is nice and pretty outside. Looking forward to a little high school football tonight, but we also get to continue our coverage of Southeastern Conference football. We have two teams left. We're down to the final two. We've got, of course, Vanderbilt coming up tomorrow ahead of their game out in Hawaii, which should be a lot of fun. But today we get a chance to welcome in Off the Hook Sports host, Amanda LaFratta. Amanda, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing well, Amanda. Appreciate you taking some time with us. I know there's got to be a lot of excitement. It's 1 week away. for Tennessee, as they will be playing a Thursday night game against visiting Ball State. And so I guess preseason camp and all that is out of the way, and you got to be pretty excited about that they are actually getting ready for somebody and not just working on themselves at this point.
Oh, I'm definitely sure they're excited about that. I know after a certain amount of time when they practice, you can only hit your teammates so many times without feeling bad about that. But I mean, everything's looking good at UT so far. The only hang up at the moment is the Brew McCoy situation, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how that plays out.
No word on that at this point. I mean, no leanings one way or the other or anything like that.
No, I mean, not so far as I'm aware of as of 30 minutes ago. Still nothing. USC came out and said that they had complied with the NCAA and did everything in a timely manner. Well, that could be 6 months, could be a timely manner to some people. You never know, but it definitely is out there right now. And USC with the NPO, and we know they didn't sign that, and we know that they forced Tennessee to like get a waiver for Brew's eligibility, which is still not gone through. So I have no idea where we're going to stand on that when the season starts. But I know a lot of Tennessee fans are very, very upset about that, and they're pushing really hard on that issue.
Mo, I don't know if you see. Did you peep that Coke bottle behind Amanda there? The Bear Bryant Coke bottle.
I did not see.
I've got a few of those.
I did not see the Coke bottle specifically, but I do know, and I'm sure most UT fans that follow Amanda know pretty well where her allegiances lie as far as that goes. So
you can't be an Alabama fan if you don't have like 12 of those random bottles just sitting in your house or in storage somewhere. Those are the rules.
That is correct. That's normally the rule, unless you have a signed Nick Saban picture addressed to you, then you can, that makes up for some of them at least.
I hear you.
So you got the Bear Bryant Coke bottle on one shoulder and the Nick Saban signed photograph on the other shoulder.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I don't see any Mike Price. I don't see any Mike DeBose. I don't see any Mike Shula.
None of the Mikes.
None of that.
No, I know. Well, the Mike Price, that would have
no Dennis Francione. No, none of that. Yeah.
Dennis Francione's blackballed in Tuscaloosa.
Yes. You'd have to go to A&M overnight and not tell anyone to get to that. So that's typically how that works.
Amanda doesn't know, Mo, that when you're in studio, you have a signed picture of Coach Bryant over your shoulder. So
look
at her face. I'm sorry, what?
As Bill Gillespie said in the heat of the night, that came with the office. Got nothing to do with me. Yeah. Amanda, as we consider this UT team, and a lot of people feel like Georgia be damned, UT has a relatively better shot at the SEC East than they have had in some time. What do you like about this team?
I mean, you have to first like the coach. You have to have, you have to like Josh Heupel. You have to like what he's doing at Tennessee. He's really changed the culture. He's changed everything about that program, and you see it in the players, and you see it in practice. You see it in games from last season. They are really working not only with each other and for each other, they're working for their coach. So you have to like what Heupel brings to the Volunteers. There's a sense of pride that's back that I haven't seen in a long time. And of course, that's coming from somebody who's not a Tennessee fan. So I'm a little bit on the outside of that looking in, and I'm more objective than most, Tennessee fans. What I see in Tennessee right now is it's a little scary for people who are other fans of other teams, because they're back. And those are some scary words to say as an opposing fan, but with Georgia losing their entire defense, basically, I don't see how Tennessee can't at least be in there for the running of the SEC East this year.
Chris, she said it. She said it.
Yeah, she said
Tennessee's
Tennessee's
back.
back. And look, UT and back, no matter which UT you're talking about, can certainly draw some ire on social media. But you're right. Look, Tennessee may not be back to its winning national championships or that, on a consistent basis. I don't know. They may be in that role. But if Tennessee can at least be competitive in the Southeastern Conference Eastern Division, I think that is where most Tennessee fans would want to be, especially after the last decade and a half. So where they sit right now with what Josh Heupel has done, and you just said it, Georgia lost everything on that defense, and the only team the first team that scored any points in the first quarter against the heralded Georgia defense was this Tennessee offense. So this Tennessee team absolutely has everything it needs on the offensive side of the ball to be competitive. However, the defensive side of the ball has been the question. Obviously, that secondary has to get better from last year. Have you seen improvement on the defensive side of the ball from this team?
As far as we know, yes. There's been, reports out of camp and stuff that there are improvements, and you bring in, a couple of transfers that will help with that, in Tarantine and Walker. And I think that will be a big contribution to this defense. Now, of course, we're talking about a defense that, we're not going to see another one like what Georgia had last year. That was, those are one in a million type defenses. But all you need in SEC football now is just to stop them from getting in the end zone. You're going to get big plays. You're going to get a lot of yards. Just keep them out of the end zone. And I think that's very possible for Tennessee this season. Last season was a little hairy. I think this season you have some, a little more depth than you did last year.
You've also got another year out of linebacker Jeremy Banks, and who would have expected to use that phrase 5 years ago talking about this kid? I mean, he was a third-team selection on the preseason All-SEC team, and this is a guy it feels like really has a future beyond the University of Tennessee, the way he has developed at linebacker.
Yeah, he's surprised everyone, I think. Everybody, no one really knew of him, I guess, a couple of years ago, and now here we are. And he's being talked about by NFL scouts. He's come a long way, and for him to have that kind of determination and that kind of drive tells you all you need to know about that kid.
That's the key, and I wonder how much of this team, how much of the improvement of this team comes from simply just having a little bit of confidence and the environment changing last year.
Oh yeah. It's a huge difference. It's a huge game changer. I know we've talked to, Jacob Warren, we've talked to Cooper Mays, and they'll tell you that the whole atmosphere is different. So this team, like I said, plays for Heupel. They play for themselves, they play for their teammates, but they play for Heupel. And I don't think they had that in Pruitt. They didn't have it in Butch Jones. It's a completely different outlook, and they're playing together as a team. And that is way different than it used to be. You're picking out big time names, but only because they have made themselves big time names like Hendon Hooker and Cedric Tillman and Jabari Small. They've made themselves what they are with the help of Heupel's coaching. And to be honest, not a lot of people were excited when Heupel got to Tennessee. It was another, who is this? Or is this another Derek Dooley? Is this another Butch Jones? But
it felt like a desperation hire. It felt like it from Danny White, because it was just the guy he already had.
Yeah.
And
it seems like it didn't end up being that way. Maybe he just knew. He just knew, and he trusted in what he had before. And he just said, I know this is not going to be the most popular thing to do, but Pruitt was the popular hire, and look how well that turned out. So
can I get a name in? Look, she's not wrong. 100%. That's the thing. If you're Danny White, I know UCF and Tennessee are not the same thing, but if you felt good about about Josh Heupel at Danny White after going 13-0, you had to feel good about going with Josh Heupel at Tennessee, where you knew he could get players. I mean, in the long run, on the backside, when you look back at this thing, you go, it really did make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, it did. I mean, he watched him. He knew what he could do. And it's, when you're a coach, it's not just about where you're coaching and the talent that you can get. It's about using the talent that you have. And clearly, Heupel was very good at using that talent. And Tennessee is still – they're still rebuilding, but I think they're at the end of the rebuilding era or the rebuilding phase. And so he's not only going to be able to get new players and better talent going forward, like you have with Nico, and I will not say his last name because I can't and I'll botch it. But like Nico coming in, he's using the talent that's already there. And he's being really, really, it's really successful what he's doing.
Amanda LaFratta here of Off the Hook Sports, joining us on Main Street Sports today, talking about the Tennessee Volunteers. And, well, she said it. Tennessee's back. I certainly hope that you are right as a Tennessee fan, but also because living here it's I know you have to deal with the frustrations of Tennessee fans in your area. So it's not much better here, but it's probably a little bit worse over where you're at. That being said, this Tennessee team will have a fairly tough schedule, but in the end, obviously going to Georgia, I believe, is the key game. But other than that, is there a game on this schedule where you say we're going to find out what Tennessee's made of?
I mean, I think the Florida game is going to give some insight to that. But if Tennessee does not handle that and handle it well, I think that's going to cause some concern. But I don't see that happening. I see them, taking Florida out fairly decently, especially with this. Like this Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman, Squirrel White, and Brew McCoy, if he plays, is going to be unstoppable. I mean, they really are going to be unstoppable. So
and Jabari Small.
Yes, and Jabari Small. So they'll be insane together. And I just feel like people are going to be worried about Tennessee's defense, but their offense is going to take up most of the time. So I don't think it should be that much of a worry because they're just going to score points left, right, and center.
So, Amanda, is UT undefeated when they take on your favorite team?
I could see them being undefeated. I could also see them dropping one, maybe.
At LSU is a tough game.
Yeah.
It really is.
The LSU game is going to be tough in Death Valley. I could see that happening. But if not, then yeah, I think they could come in undefeated, which I don't enjoy. I'm not going to lie. I don't enjoy that, but that's okay.
We'll have to be sure and have Amanda on that week, Chris.
It just makes it better. Alabama, Tennessee, the third Saturday in October, both teams undefeated would be just talk about nostalgia, man.
No doubt.
Talk about nostalgia. It would be one of the most exciting football games in Neyland Stadium's history.
Yeah, I think it would be probably the most watched game of the season for either team and maybe for college football in general, because that would be undefeated Alabama, Tennessee. It'd be like the old times.
Yeah,
like
no
90s.
question. Amanda, thank you so much for taking time with us today. We certainly appreciate it and look forward to talking to you again, hopefully around the third Saturday in October with two undefeated teams lurking.
There we go.
Sounds good to me. Thank you, guys.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, Mo. When we come back, we talk about the Atlanta Braves here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, I know we didn't do This Damn Braves history yesterday, unfortunately. But you know what we also missed in baseball history? Yesterday was the anniversary of Ray Caldwell being struck by lightning for the Indians.
You know, I saw that as I was looking up my Braves item for yesterday and didn't really think to mention it, but man, that's they say if you watch baseball long enough, you'll see something you've never seen before, and I'm sure that the folks that were in attendance that day were certainly stunned. I mean, that's just crazy to even think about someone getting struck by lightning in the middle of a baseball game.
and then pitching after getting struck by lightning. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, I'm good. I'll let's go ahead and get this last out. Y'all mind?
Man, it's craziness.
Well, in order to avoid forgetting This Damn Braves history today, why don't we just go ahead and get it out the way?
Just rip the Band-Aid off. August 25th, 2013, Jordan Schaefer hit a double and a triple. Andrelton Simmons hit his 12th homer of the year, and Mike Minor, speaking of Chapel Hill, Mike Minor picked up his 13th victory as Atlanta won 5-2 at St. Louis in a matchup of two leading playoff contenders. Minor went 7 innings, allowing a run on 6 hits after going just 1 2/3 innings in his previous start against Washington, and helped stop the Cardinals' 4-game win streak.
I'm always here to stop the Cardinals win streaks.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that there might be a little foreshadowing going on here. So
certainly would be nice. Certainly would be nice. Well, that is This Day in Braves history. This is your Daily Braves segment brought to you by Insert Your Business Here. If you want to be a part of the show for the next 2 months, or so, hopefully 3. Let's see.
The longer the better.
September and all of October, a little bit of November. So 2 months and and maybe a week. That would be ideal.
By the way, the Cardinals are up 5-2 on the Cubs, mid-5. So
Cardinals getting ready to host the Atlanta Braves. Matchup predictor on ESPN has the Cardinals with a 50.5% chance over the Braves' 49.5% chance. So it's literally a coin flip in this next series. In Game 1, Spencer Strider, Jose Quintana will take the bump for their respective teams. Obviously, Paul Goldschmidt is just been a MVP candidate. I mean, this guy has been phenomenal since, obviously he was great in Arizona. Since coming to St. Louis, he's been just as good, if not better. That's a guy you got to get out, but it's not just Goldschmidt these days.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, you've got Arenado to deal with as well.
That's not exactly who I was talking about.
Hey.
That's not exactly who I was talking about. Well, but yes, Arenado is great. Edmonds great. But geez, the way Pujols is hitting the ball right now, you think they're putting on a tee for him.
He's found the fountain of youth here this last couple of weeks for sure. So they've gotten a lot more dangerous with him doing what he's been doing. And I thought he was just going to kind of slide out. I thought the All-Star game was a lifetime achievement award for him, and it seems like it really got his juices going, man. So,
that home run derby, he was like, hey, I can still hit it out the ballpark. Let me keep trying.
let me see if I can't do this in a game. And sure enough, so all of a sudden he's 7 short of 700. And I think, you know, it's already been a debate here for the last little bit. You know, he's announced that he's retiring at the end of the year. Last time he spoke, which was earlier this week, that's still the case, regardless of what that number is at the end of the season. So, but you got to feel like if he's around 698, it's
hard. It would be hard to quit at 698 or 99. It would be the most difficult decision of his career.
Yeah.
And
and I'm telling you, it would be a difficult decision for St. Louis as well, I think.
Probably so. I mean, yeah, it would be tough. So
they really need him to hit 7 more home runs.
They really do, for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
He really needs to hit 700 more or 7 more home runs just for himself. I mean, that's just that's where they sit right now. He just needs to get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, Mo, the Braves are 1.5 game out of the NL East lead, and New York just looking over their shoulder going, are you serious right now? These guys are
yeah, they thought they put the stake in the Braves' heart with that 4 wins in 5 games up at Citi Field, and all the Braves have done is win, what, 14 of 16?
14 of 16 since that.
So,
including 3 of 4 against them.
Yeah. Now, Braves aren't going to get any help this weekend because the Rockies go to town.
No, the Braves are not going to get much help, and they're playing it again. The Mets actually have a fairly easy schedule from this point forward, and the Braves' schedule doesn't get much easier. Again, you've got St. Louis. You got to go to St. Louis for one. That's difficult enough in and of itself. Then you get the Rockies and the Marlins at home. Go to Oakland and Seattle for 5, and you continue that road trip in San Francisco, which certainly isn't easy. And then from there on out, it's all after that San Francisco road trip. It's nothing but NL East teams from there on out: Philly, Washington, New York, and Miami.
Now, the Mets, after they get done with the Rockies, do have the Dodgers coming to town for 3 games midweek. But then they've got the Nationals, the Pirates, the Marlins, Cubs, Pirates, Brewers, A's, Marlins. Yeah, so
it's a fairly navigable schedule. I mean, they play the Pirates 7 times, and we saw what they did and what they had
or didn't do.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just kind of where we sit right now. Look, at this point, just get to the playoffs and do what you got to do. It would be great to win the division. Don't get me wrong.
I really think the Braves just have to stay close until the Mets come to town the last of September.
The problem is doing that, though, right? I mean, with this schedule, the way the 2 schedules match up, it's going to be difficult. I mean, do they? If you can keep them, if you can get within 3 games, then sure.
Yeah,
but right now you're looking at a tough go of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. It's tough go from here on out.
You're not wrong, unfortunately.
So that's where the Braves sit right now. And look, you can point at whatever you want to point at. You can point at this early season results where you lose 2 of 4 to Cincinnati to start the year, lose 2 of 3 to Washington in that next series. You can point to a lot of different things. 2 of 3 to Texas. Remember that? thanks to
Mhm.
Kyle Muller.
Mm.
And I mean, there's just a lot of things you can go back and go, man, if we hadn't done this, or if this, if that. At this point, you just got to do what you got to do. You got to take care of your business. And if you get to the playoffs, you got to feel good about whoever you face when you get to the playoffs. I mean, even if it's the Mets.
Sure.
You've got your 3 best guys are just as good as their 3 best guys. Say what you want to. Scherzer, DeGrom are 2 of the best in the game, but so are Fried and Wright right now.
There's no easy team when you get to the playoffs, but the Braves don't have to take a back seat to anybody in the playoffs either. So
that's right.
I mean, you would like to go in as a division winner, but being a wild card does not preclude you from coming out of the National League or winning the World Series. So,
and let's be honest here. We saw a team that wasn't as good as this one win the World Series last year.
That's what so many people seem to be losing. This team is better than last year's team.
Charlie Morton became a different pitcher in the postseason. Obviously, we know what Eddie Rosario did in the postseason. This bullpen, the night shift, became the best bullpen in the last 20 years of baseball.
Well, and you've got Ronald Acuna Jr. figuring out what he is and what he's not right now. The power isn't necessarily there, but the speed is.
And that's the thing. It just, I'm fine if he doesn't hit home runs. As long as he gets on base, I feel like he's going to score 50% of the time.
Even if Ron Washington doesn't.
Even if Ron Washington doesn't think he's going to score. So look, I'm looking forward to it, man. This is exactly what I want. I didn't love it when we were winning the division in early September. I mean, it's great and all, and it's nice to be able to rest your players and all of that sort of thing. But I mean, as a fan, I want games to matter.
And there's something to be said for having an edge right up to the end of the season as well.
I mean, how many times have we seen teams in the National Football League rest guys in week 17 only to get beat in the first round of the playoffs because their guys weren't necessarily, ready.
Mm-hmm.
So happens all the time. Anyway, it's going to be fun. Braves, Cardinals all weekend long. Strider, Quintana, Morton, Montgomery, Odorizzi, and the name I never like hearing when we talk about the Atlanta Braves, Adam Wainwright. Still the biggest regret, I have to think.
And I think he has carried that. I think he's a little resentful over the fact that he was traded by the Braves because he seems to take it out on at every opportunity. So,
but I got to tell you, Tuesday, August 30th is going to be a fun day for us. Because guess who Max Fried matches up with against the Colorado Rockies?
I give up.
Jose Urena.
Oh, you know what? I saw him I think he started yesterday for the Rockies.
So
against whoever they were playing. So
I'm going to go get the highlights of every time Urena has hit Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh. Is that game in Atlanta?
That game is in Atlanta, so he may not get out of there.
They might should just put Acuna on rather than pitching to him.
Maybe so.
Because if he hits Acuna in that game, it could get real ugly.
Man. Anyway, just
wow.
saying.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
That'll bear watching for sure.
Breaking news. Bryce Harper is ready to return and will return tomorrow from his left thumb fracture, according to Rob Thompson.
He's just ducking Soroka.
There you go. Just didn't want to face him in AAA.
Yeah.
Boy, wouldn't that have been fun?
Soroka was supposed to start Sunday, I believe, in the finale
exactly
of
what
that
he's
series.
doing. There you go.
Yeah.
That's 100%. It's exactly what it. Can't believe that, man. Unreal. Mo, let's take a break. When we come back, man, we got 10 high school football games to pick, so let's do it. You ready?
Ready as I'm gonna be. Let's do it.
That's the positive. So we'll be back after this on Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, coming to you right here from Main Street, wherever you may be. We have 10 high school football games to pick, and it's time to get into it. So, well, I didn't pick games this week, but in the future, if we want to choose our own games, we certainly can. I have no problem with that. But this week we will go with the games in the Main Street Preps staff-wide pick'em. Last week, Mo was 7-3. I was 4-6. Not a great week for me. I'll be honest with you. That's okay. Minor setback for a major comeback. That's all I'm saying.
Those numbers can easily flip-flop at any time. So
they certainly can. They certainly can. So we'll start at Father Ryan, where the Brentwood Bruins will be taking on the Irish at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And I'll be honest with you, this one didn't take long to pick.
No, not at all. Between the two outcomes of last week, Brentwood knocking off Blackman and Father Ryan falling to East Nashville, I like the Bruins in this one, and I imagine you do as well.
I do, in fact. I feel like, but I'll tell you, this will be a really good uniform game. Brentwood wore their powders last week, and I love when they wear their powders. But this will be a good uniform game either way. So if nothing else, another good uniform game, a classic uniform versus a modern uniform, as the Green Wave of Gallatin head to Murfreesboro to take on the Blackman Blaze with their flamed out helmets and Air Jordan unis, much to the dismay of some in Murfreesboro. So. We won't get into that.
No, we won't. We will not. We will not. Gallatin got off to a good start last week with that win over Mount Juliet, and we just mentioned Blackman and their loss to Brentwood. So based again on that, I like Gallatin in this one. So
Blackman had a great first half last week. They held Brentwood to scoreless, I think, in the first half. It might have been 3 points. I'm not sure. Either way, this is the point where Blackman has to kind of figure out what they're going to do on fourth downs and with kickoffs. I mean, you have to figure out, do you want to take those chances? Do you want to play it safe? That sort of thing. I'm not sure how good Mount Juliet is. I think Blackman impressed me in the few highlights that I saw. So I went Blackman this week, 31-21 over Gallatin.
I don't think there's anything to figure out. I mean, if that's, I think you've got to be who you are. And if that's Blackman, then they've got to do that. And
also, I think they've got to figure out who they are. I think he's going to have to decide, which style of play is best for this team that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously your biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2, because you find out a lot about your team. So I think we're going to find out this week. And it's a great matchup. I mean, Gallatin and Blackman it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Next one will be fun to watch as well, as CPA will travel to Brentwood Academy, likely sans Ingle Martin and their head coach. I think the Lions have, obviously, after what you saw last week against Independence, and look, I think Independence is going to be really good. I think they're going to battle for second or third in that region. But I feel like this is kind of a coin flip, so I'm going with the home team, Brentwood Academy.
I could see this being a coin flip. I think I like CPA by about a touchdown, even though it's at Brentwood Academy, and even though they're without their head coach. I mean, it certainly didn't seem to impact them against Independence. As Ingle mentioned when we had him on earlier in the show, Steve Haywood is pretty widely respected across the state as one of the better coaches. He was at Lakeway Christian up in East Tennessee last year, I think, or the year before, but came back to CPA and rejoined Ingle's staff. And, I think they're kind of head coach by committee anyway. So I just like, even with the losses from a personnel perspective that CPA sustained over this past offseason, I like the Lions in this ballgame.
Nashville Christian, a bit of a surprising defeat last week. They'll go to Good Pasture tonight at 7:00. And this one, I feel like Nashville Christian should take care of business here, but I'm not sure exactly what that program has right now. Obviously, just based on recent history, Nashville Christian is very good. And obviously a little bit better than Good Pasture, but I just don't know what to expect. I took Nashville Christian in this one.
I took Nashville Christian as well. I expect them to bounce back from that loss last week. And as you mentioned a little bit ago, I think that week 1 to week 2 improvement, that focus, that coaching kind of kicks in this week. I think the Eagles get this one. I expect it to be a good ball game. Less than a touchdown, but I think Nashville Christian wins this one.
Again, certainly to me, I just don't know, what to expect from either team. So it's going to be fun to watch. Moving on to Hillsboro, they host Station Camp. Yes, they host Station Camp on Friday. Hillsboro lost last week to Kenny Minchie and Pope Prep, but there's no shame in that. While their opponent, Station Camp, got a win to start the season. So again, it's early in the year, so I just don't really know. But and I'm not sure what White House has got this year, so I don't know how big that win is for Station Camp. But I went with Station Camp to get the win here on the road at Hillsboro.
I'm going with Hillsboro just because I feel like the Burros were tested by Kenny Minchie and Pope Prep, and I think they can take a lot out of that game into this game. And as you said, I'm not sure how much of a test White House was for Station Camp last week. I like the Burros here at home.
Lebanon ranked what, 4th in the AP poll? I think they're 4th.
Sounds right. Yeah, but behind Oakland, Maryville, and I don't remember who was number 3. But yeah.
No, off the top of my head, if I had the Red Zone rundown in front of me, I could tell you, but I don't. But Wilson Central traveling to
Ravenwood.
I'm sorry?
Ravenwood was number 3. Gotcha. I do have the Red Zone rundown in front of me.
There you go. I was like, Ravenwood. We're not talking about Ravenwood. We're talking about Wilson Central Lebanon. Very confused.
Yeah.
All right. So Wilson Central is at Lebanon. Lebanon number 4 in the state. Wilson Central, tough loss to Rossview 16-14 last week, while Lebanon pretty well took care of Antioch 49-14. I don't think this is going to be much of a game.
I don't know that I do either. I think this Lebanon team is really focused and looking to do some damage after last year's, I think it was their 2nd round loss to Oakland. Got a really good ball club, and this is a rivalry game, and it could be ugly before it's over, but I like the Blue Devils here.
Yeah, we actually picked this game almost identical in score. I just don't have Wilson Central getting that 3rd extra point. 41-20 for me, 41-21 for you. So I think they'll just miss the extra point on, who knows. Based off last week, this game should be interesting. Pearl Cone at NBA Friday at 7. Obviously, NBA with a big win over that number 3 Ravenwood team, and Pearl Cone taking it on the chin against Cane Ridge. I think we talked about it last week, Mo. I mean, this NBA team looked really, really impressive on the offensive side of the football. So I've got the Big Red here big.
I've got the Big Red. I don't think you can – I don't know. I don't think Pearl Cone 17-14 loss to Cane Ridge is a negative on Pearl Cone. I think they're going to come out, and I think they're going to play well in this one. I think MBA can really put a lot of pressure on you from a lot of different places offensively, and I think that's probably where the difference comes in this one. I like MBA, but I don't like them big. I've got them 38-27, so.
I've got 45-26 in favor of the Big Red.
Yeah. That's an interesting number.
26?
No, 45.
They might kick a field goal. You never know.
No, I've got them kicking a field goal as well. I'm just not sure they're going to score 6 touchdowns.
Well, I mean, they scored 6 last week, right?
They did.
Against the number 3 team in 6A. So, I mean, that was where I was going.
Mm-hmm.
I put them in the 40s because that's what they did against Ravenwood. I figure Ravenwood's defense probably pretty good. So.
That's fair. That's fair. All right.
That's the only reason I put them in the 40s. But Smyrna, big win last week. Kind of a shocker over Green Hill. They take on Rockville.
No. That was Siegel that beat Green Hill last week.
Siegel. Okay, you're right.
Smyrna
still had a big win.
They beat Stewart's Creek last week.
That's correct. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I get my Murfreesboro area schools mixed up.
It's okay. It happens.
Especially the ones that start with S.
Mm-hmm.
But big win for them over Stewart's Creek in the Mayor's Cup. And again, they get to go to the Rockets with a brand new head coach who got a big win over Laverne, 44-12. So this one should be a good one.
I think it will be a good one. I think it'll be a close one. I'd like Smyrna by a touchdown when it's over with, but I think Rockvale's really going to make their presence felt in this one. Should be a good ball game. Really entertaining.
Do not ask me why, but I just feel like this is going to be a defensive slugfest. I've got Smyrna 14, Rockville 13.
Okay.
Both teams' defenses looked really good last week. And I mean, obviously their offenses did too. They both scored, 35 and 40 something points, but I don't know. I just feel like these two teams, they have always been, which Rockville's new, but Smyrna specifically has always kind of been a ground and pound team.
Right.
And so I feel like that's going to shorten the game a little bit.
I can see that.
Tonight in Shelbyville, Marshall County coming off their big win against Columbia Central. Shelbyville fell to Tullahoma last week, I believe. And honestly, I mean, I don't think Shelbyville's gonna gift Marshall County 21 points in the punt game. But either way, I don't think they can stop I don't think Shelbyville can stop the Tigers.
That run game of Marshall County, and you saw it with those two running backs, Damari Braden in particular, I think is going to take a toll on Shelbyville over the course of the night. And, they may not gift them any points, but I do think Marshall County can kind of wear you down with their physical style of play. I like the Tigers pretty big in this one.
I do too. I think that I think it's 38-19 over Shelbyville is what I've got, and random numbers, honestly. I'll be honest. Oh, yours is 38-20. Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
That's nuts. Wow. Okay.
So, there you go. And our final game of the week tomorrow night. I texted you as soon as I saw the score. Clarksville did not see that loss last week to, was it McGavick? Coming.
That's a great win for McGavick. Great win for young coach Freddie Burnett. Excuse me. That's just a big win for that program. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Clarksville bounces back from that. But, they don't have a whole lot of room for error because this Springfield team has got designs on a deep run in 4A, and I think they're probably up for it. So I like the Yellow Jackets in this one.
Well, in the event you are curious about this one and you don't have anything and you're not going to a game tomorrow, you can check this one out on MyTV30. It is the Friday Night Rivals game of the week.
That'll be a good one.
I've got Springfield in this one, 33-21. I really feel like, that Springfield offense is just, despite being, wing T based, it's pretty high powered.
It's funny though. We talked about this last week when we had Creasy on. 3 of the final 4 teams in the Class 6A playoffs were, wing T based in some way, shape, or form. Oakland, Summit, and Hendersonville. So, say what you will about the wing T, but I mean, if you are athletically deficient, it can help you level up. And if you've got athletes, and Springfield does, it can make you dangerous.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I think that a lot of people have a negative connotation against the wing T as it's a 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of offense, but it's not. It's really designed for big plays. It's designed to get your, good athletes on the corners. And if you can get them there, it's off to the races every time.
And there's a lot of misdirection. And so you catch somebody out of position, somebody doesn't fill a hole,
and it's 6.
Yeah.
And Springfield hit 6 quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, kudos to them and what they've built up there. Obviously, friend of the show, Bronson Bradley, the offensive coordinator, and, glad that he's having the success he's having up there with with that team and that program. So I've got Springfield in this one, but I think you're right. I think they've got their eyes set on a deep run in Class 4A, and I would not be surprised to see them continuing the runs that they've had over the last 3 years. I think they've made the third round or better.
Mhm.
So they've really had a great run here of late, and I think it's going to continue. And Friday night's not going to be any different. They get the win over Clarksville. So
yeah,
there you have it. Those are our 10 games. You can check out those picks on mainstreetpreps.com. If you need to check back, if you are interested in Mo's picks from Southern Middle Tennessee, well, guess what? We just happen to have those right here for you. You can check out mainstreetmurray.com, or you can check out Main Street Murray print edition. That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
But let's go through it tonight. Columbia Central hosting Dixon County. Both teams 0-1. What you got, Mo?
I have got Columbia Central getting off the mat in that one. I should have won last week. Think that they are going to iron some things out, or will have ironed some things out by the time they hit the field tonight. And I'm looking for another big night out of the sophomore running back, Caden McCoy. 228 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns last week in a loss. So, maybe you give it to him more. I don't know.
Well, you should certainly give it to him if you have a chance
at least one more time. at least one more. Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
Columbia Academy making its way to Waverly. And I think this is such a great, this is the 1-year anniversary of the flood. This is going to be a tough game for Columbia Academy to step into.
Yeah. This game did not get played last year because of the floods. I think it happened the weekend of week 1. And so this game got canceled. So, and like you said, I just don't think this is a good place for Columbia Academy. I think that community is going to be fired up for football, and they've got a pretty good team to get behind. They are ranked 8th in this week's AP Class 3A poll. Beat one of their biggest rivals last week, beat Camden 47-20. And CA had a nice win last week against Ezel Harding, but Waverly is a different breed of cat, man. I've got Waverly. I think CA may be able to hang because
Monte Baldwin always gives you a chance.
I think you're right. And hey, Connor Rawson, I think as the season progresses, is going to be really good. And I think they're going to throw the ball fairly well, which Monte gives them a chance for some play action and that kind of thing. And I think they're going to balance each other out. But this week, I don't think it's CA's fault. I just think it's Waverly.
Independence welcomes the Bay. President. We still haven't figured out what the Bay means.
We have not figured out what the Bay means, and we have reached out to Memphis expert John Varlas, who does not know what the Bay is either. So if he doesn't know, we dang sure don't. But Tresvant comes up here coming off a 50-0 win over Hillcrest last week. I think again, this Independence team will represent a step up in competition for the Bay or the Bears or whatever they are.
Whatever they are.
I think Scott Stidham gets his first win tomorrow night.
Scotts Hill is at Mount Pleasant. It's going to be a big one. Obviously, last year, Mount Pleasant went to Scotts Hill and got a win. So I know they are looking to try and find a way to rectify that when they make the trip over to the Mount. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it is either. I mean, Mount Pleasant was 3-7 last year, and Scotts Hill was one of their 2 on-field victories because they also got a forfeit from Zion Christian. So Mount Pleasant won 2 games on the field last year. Scotts Hill was one of them, and Mount Pleasant coming off of a 30-2 victory last week over at East Hickman.
And East Hickman is not a bad football team, so that just tells you.
Yeah. Kid Hartsfield opened up the offense. Nick Brown, 270 passing yards, 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers last week. 2 of those 85+ yards. So
that seems
Chris,
good.
Yeah, you might want to get your running shoes on for that one tomorrow.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Spring Hill at Summit. Summit coming off of a big loss in week 1, and certainly not looking like the Summit we've come to expect, but that's okay. I think Brian Coleman will figure it out.
I think they will figure it out. And I think you knew that they weren't going to look like the Summit that we've gotten to know over the past 3 years, because you can't take the folks off the roster that you took off and expect them to look the same. But again, that week 1 to week 2, I think there will be a lot of that involved in this ball game tomorrow night. Spring Hill's got some big playability that I think they're going to have to try to utilize. I think this one could be close. I think Summit gets it done.
And finally, Summertown off their loss to Lawrence County at Wayne County. How you feeling?
I just hope Rick Rice goes to the right sideline in this one, having spent 21 years at Wayne County over 2 different stints. But I think by the time it's over, he may wish he was on the home side again. I got Wayne County in this one.
There you go. That's going to do it. Now you know who's going to win. You don't even have to go to the games now. Mo just told you.
Go anyway.
But you should. You should.
Yeah, you should definitely go.
To talk a little Vanderbilt football, and of course our weekly visit with Jeff Him to talk Nashville Sounds. So all of that coming your way tomorrow. We'll talk about college football over the weekend too. Got several games we want to at least get to. I know Nebraska is going to be in Northwestern. That's a big one. Jacksonville State and Stephen F. Austin. We've got New Mexico and Nevada. You know, big games, big stuff. Big stuff. So we'll get to it all tomorrow. So come back with us 2:00 here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. For Mo Patton, I'm Chris Yao. Have a great day.